Hello, everybody.
Feel the rhythm down in your soul. Feel the rhythm. You got to feel the rhythm. You got to feel the rhythm.
Yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to What I Need. This is episode 33. Yeah. If you guys could do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, leave them in the comments below. But all right, guys, let's get started. All right. So today, as I was saying in the last podcast, I was going to try to get a guest speaker, which today we have one. And I would like to introduce to you a good friend of mine. His name is Jeremy Van Johnson. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right. Well, part of what I wanted to talk about today was, first off, who are you?
Me as in myself. Currently, right now, I'm actually a college student. I'm currently enrolled at the Los Angeles Film School for entertainment business, and I have newly just started getting into some of the finer elements of entertainment business, which is the production of microfilms.
Right on, right on. Why, well, what, before I go into that kind of question, what is your background? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, a little bit about myself. I am 35 years old. I am originally from Arkansas. I was in the military for 6 years. I have done all sorts of jobs. I've ranged from being homeless and literally on the streets.
We know about that one.
Absolutely. And to changing tires to being a military tactician or a cavalry scout, forward deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom. So I've done a lot of different jobs, and that's come in pretty handy so far, now that I've shifted my gears towards entertainment.
All right. Well, see, I know you a little more than obviously the people out here listening to this. But what I wanted to ask, and I talk about it all the time, but getting somebody else's point of view or opinion on it is always good. So I wanted to ask if you could describe your motivation. What motivates you in life?
Motivation. That's a good one. Motivation. You know, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic, and that's something that I'm proud to say I'm a recovering addict alcoholic, and I say that because for many, many years I covered it up and I tried to hide who I was internally. And so for motivation, when I decided to finally sober up and get clean, I took what I used in my active addiction and I ramped it towards my everyday life. And so, you know, if I look back on my active addiction, there was a time where I lived in a town called Denton, Texas. It's in northern Texas, up by the panhandle of Oklahoma, or that area. And
what's it called?
Denton,
Denton,
Texas. Yeah, it's a college town. And man, you know, I used to walk like 6 miles to get a bottle of Everclear.
Oh yeah.
Like 6 miles. Man, I was barely hydrated enough to get off my couch and walk out the front door. But like, I literally would walk 6 miles, man.
Truth.
6 miles to go get this bottle. And then I was completely broke for like the next, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But hey, hell, I was drunker than Cooter Brown, for like a good day or two. But I look back at that and I go, wow, I used to make that trip every day or 2 days. I literally used to walk from my house to the liquor store and then back, instead of, fixing my car, or instead of, doing this. So anyway, so the point behind that was that I went through some great extremes to procure my addiction. And so now I try to use that same mentality, that never stop, that like you can always push yourself a little harder. And I'm gonna be real with you, today was one of those days. I had to literally peel myself out of my bed. I had to like self-talk myself to get myself to the gym. And I love the gym. It was just, I just wasn't feeling it, you know? And so I look back, I did a little quick reflection, and I said, you know, I wouldn't have done that. I would have gotten that bottle of alcohol, or I would have gotten those drugs if I was still using them. So I should be doing the same thing with my life, you know? And that's kind of what I use for motivation.
Yeah, see, it's funny that you talk about that, because that's what we were just talking about the other day. Like, there would be a time I would walk all the way from Hollywood, maybe hop on a couple buses and go all the way to fucking Pomona.
Right.
Because somebody told me they got $50 for me, but I gotta go all the way over there. Took me 3.5 hours one way just to get $50, which is not much for the day of alcohol, but it's enough to, pretty much get me drunk. But that's what I would do. I would straight up walk to the end of the earth to get some goddamn alcohol. And I actually talk about that in some of my other the previous episodes. You guys know, if you guys have been paying attention, listening to those, how if you use that same addiction mentality that you once had of what you would go to the end of the earth to get whatever it is, your drink, your drugs, your weed, whatever it is. If you use that same motivation into real life stuff as you're getting sober, it could benefit you a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's funny that you say that. I mean, so what do you think for your motivation, for you in general? Like, is it more of a mental game? Like, mentally, you have to battle yourself to get yourself up out of bed early, get to the gym, or is it a physical thing? Like, what do you think it is more? Do you think it's more of a mental battle or a physical? And when I say physical, I mean like lazy.
Sometimes it goes either way. Sometimes it's physical, but it's not necessarily like physical. Like, I want to be lazy. It's more of like physical, like my body hurts. And maybe I'm just in a blah mode, like a couple days ago, I was just in a blah mode, and I woke up and I wasn't angry. I wasn't happy. I was just kind of existing. And to be honest though, with like the gym, I center my life around fitness now. And the reason why I do that is because it carries over and rolls over into every other aspect of my life. Like, I push myself so far in the gym that if I'm not pushing myself over here, I kind of check myself. And I'm like, look, dude, you just ran 2 miles in 11 minutes and 26 seconds, bro. And you lifted twice your body weight. Like,
you haven't washed this bowl in like 3 days.
Yeah, like, come on, wash this bowl. Like, literally, like, you literally move your body weight almost on the daily. And like, so therefore, not only does it help with your endorphins and get your hormones regulated on a constant basis, but it also makes you push yourself even further. When I get to a point to where I'm at like a crossroads with a project, and I'm like, should I do this? I'm taking a really big risk if I go this route, or if I do this, then I have to go, well, yeah, but you were taking a big risk when you decided to run, under a 6-minute mile at 35. With a bad back, And
it's
so,
old as shit.
Yeah.
I just chopped my femur in half.
Right. So I'm so to really though, to answer your question, it is 90% mental. I feel it's 90% mental, and then within that mental,
so it's more of a mental battle.
Absolutely, and within that 90%. That can even be broken down even to even further categories. It's not. We're human, man. We're not simplistic. There are many layers to everyone. For me, the 90% is mental. If I can break past that first 10% of the 90%, that makes sense. If I can break past that 10%, then I'm golden. But it's that 10% that holds me back. That 10% that keeps me laying in that bed, or that 10% that keeps me from going to the gym. And then and once you break past it, you're good. Just keep pushing.
Right. Yeah, see, with me, I would definitely say it's more of a mental thing. Physically, since I'm 28, there should be no excuses for me not to get my ass up and do some stuff. But for me, I have a lot bigger of a mental battle, and that's also just quick topic for you guys listening. Write down in the comments, what do you think it is that's holding you back? Is it more of a physical thing or a mental thing? And then if you could, explain why. That would be interesting. Maybe other people around who's watching or listening, wherever you are, maybe you're in Zimbabwe or Egypt or Hawaii, I don't know. Wherever you are, I mean, enough of you guys comment and talk about what it is that you think your problem is and how you guys fix it. You guys could probably help each other. Now, one of the last questions I wanted to ask, Jeremy, is for people out there that want to, and this is going to be an interesting one because I talk about this a lot in my podcast, especially about my sobriety, about people that if you could talk to people right now who are listening and they are alcoholics, drug addicts, you know, in that category, and they really want to quit but can't, can you tell them what you would suggest that would kind of help them and what inspired you to get sober?
That's another good question. Really good question. Okay, so for me personally, I had to ask myself why. I think that's the biggest, most important thing is why. Why do I feel the need to drink excessive amounts of alcohol to the point of me blacking out and saying things that are inappropriate to people that I genuinely wouldn't say those things to, you know? And then if you do a lot of inner reflection, you know, you'll find out that sometimes it's psychological, sometimes it's the fact that I just like to get drunk. Like I told my dad once upon a time. This was right before I decided to go the sober route. He looked at me and he goes, you know, and he said kind of the same thing. He said, why are you doing the things that you're doing? And I said, I like to get high. I mean, being real with you, I like to get twisted. Like, I like to smoke enough meth to kill someone, you know, like in like 3 days. I've smoked enough that, like, you know, I've probably bought the cartel like three new cars. Who knows? I mean, you know, but I guess what I'm trying to convey is that you have to really dig down inside yourself, and that's something that addicts don't like to do. That's something that humans don't like to do. Hell, no one likes to look at themselves in the mirror.
Because I would say, like, for me, what I think is that the reason we don't want to dig down deep into ourselves is because really the reason why we're so drunk and high and whatever the fuck is because we don't like ourselves. We're
Absolutely.
happy with ourselves at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. No one likes to look in the mirror. This is kind of. I don't remember if I've heard this or if I'm just gonna make this up. I'm not gonna lie to you. But no one likes to look in the mirror because you're afraid of who you might see, and that's true. I mean, you know, like when I would look at myself strung out for like 2 weeks straight, hadn't hardly eaten anything in like 4 days, you know. Meth to the teeth. I looked at myself and I despised who I saw, you know. And the thing is that I wasn't necessarily doing what I did for emotional reasons. Yet, like classic addiction, I ended up actually being more involved with my drug use or alcohol use due to the fact of me being unhappy with who I was. So, absolutely.
Right. So, sorry, I kind of got distracted there for a little bit, but what would you suggest to try? What would you suggest would be your first step to getting sober? And mind you guys, I think in maybe I think it was episode 11. I don't remember, but I mean we're at episode 33. One of these episodes, I was talking about my friend who got sober like 2 days after I did. This is the guy. This is the guy. So you guys are audio-wise meeting him. So what I wanted to ask was, what would you suggest as a tip on how to start changing over to sobriety, since it's very difficult to just wake up and done. So what would you suggest, in your opinion, would be the first thing to do?
I feel that the most important thing for my sobriety was acknowledging why I did what I did. Once I acknowledged why I did what I did, then then and only then was I able to be able to pick up on a problem, on problematic behavior. And I once I found out why I did what I did, or why I consumed the alcohol that I consumed, or why I bought the 8-ball that I bought, or whatever it may be. Pardon me for using my street terms, but those things are basically things that you have to inner reflect on. And once you do, then you have to make the decision on why you want to get clean, or why you want to. For me, I did it because of how it affects other people. And to be real, that's the only reason why I quit. Even though I had the problematic behaviors, even though I had the problematic situations, I legitimately had to step back and look at how I'm affecting the other citizens of the world. And that's when I made the decision that it's more important to me to not partake in something if it is negatively affecting another human.
Right. All right. Sounds good. All right. So Jeremy is going to be. We've been talking about a project soon that he wants to begin starting, and so it's a film editing company, and so I wanted you to kind of give him a little info about it, how you're gonna start it, what you think your target market is, and if you've come up with a name, because I want to know too. If you've come up with a name, because that would be good to know as well. And guys, I will be putting his email address under the info for the description, so you guys can contact him for anything you need. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about this film business that you are venturing into?
Absolutely. So being a film student in entertainment business, it has opened doors for me that I never in my life would have foreseen to be appearing, in my timeline. So it's crazy because not even 2 years ago I was homeless, literally strung out and having serious confidence issues with self-worth and my place in society. And now that I'm a student and I'm sober, things have dramatically changed. So during one of my projects recently, I explored, or was kind of forced into exploring, a new side of entertainment building, or structure, like building the structure of entertainment. And that's something that people don't really think about, and that is video editing. Someone has to build that. If you think about the signs, and you think about shows, and you think about advertisements, or you think about the little jingles that you hear on, any of those things, someone had to build that. And so that's something that I didn't realize that I would have had that much passion in. But I started editing this short film, and literally I conveyed a story within 3 minutes. And I found a sense of accomplishment in by doing that, because this is not very easy. Five frame with a plot twist was pretty interestingly difficult. Yet I think that I want to venture out into an unknown territory. I'm not a film student. I'm an entertainment business student, so I'm learning the behind the scenes of the business world of entertainment.
Going against the grain.
Going against the grain.
No, because I was wondering, like I was actually thinking, I was like, okay, so third time's the charm. They say the third time works the best. That's what they say. And I remember this is your third transition, if you think about it, because I remember at first you were talking about, well, you wanted to join film school because you wanted to be the next Dead Mouse or something.
The next Skrillex.
Or Skrillex. Or,
Diplo,
you know,
Skrillex.
well,
yeah.
you know, kind of same.
You know.
Bloody, you know.
Yeah.
Elvis and Tupac are exactly, you know, they're similar.
Yeah, of course.
But no, I remember like, would you say Skrillex? You wanted to do like Skrillex. Then you were talking about big time corporate contracts and the business side of it. And then the film editing. And when you started talking to me about it and telling me like how you wanted to do it, especially with commercials and stuff like that, I was like, that's it, man. That's the third fucking thing that's thrown out. And I noticed that. And I actually just realized that this morning. I was sitting outside having a smoke, and I was thinking, I'm like, I remember the first Dead Mouse or Skrillex with the beat making, and then big time corporate contracts and paperwork and stuff like that, and then film editing, which really excited me because I was like, damn, that was left field. I wasn't expecting that shit. I was not expecting that at all, for real. And I was like, damn, that's it. And I think seeing you with that big ass camera that you got really like because I don't really talk that much of what I'm analyzing in my head, but I analyze a lot of shit. And when I saw that, I was like, dang, this is the third thing. I think this might fucking be it. And so why don't you tell everybody like exactly like, well, not exactly since it's still fresh, but like how you want to go about it, like how you're gonna start off, and
what my direction in the beginning is.
Yeah, your direction, and like obviously not charging like 50 grand to shoot a fucking Audi or Jaguar commercial or some shit, but like, why don't you give the people out there a little information? By the way, did you come up with a name?
I have not come up with a name yet.
What?
Not yet. I haven't stuck a label to it yet. Right now, it's still completely in the very beginning stages of it. You know how I envision starting this is going to be going through resources such as Fiverr, such as there's a couple other ones that are for editing specific, so that you can provide your services to people who may necessarily not have the $50,000 budget that Jaguar does for the 5 seconds of filming. Yeah, what I'm looking at,
I like that too a lot.
What I'm looking at, thank you. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at you asked earlier. I wanted to address this real quick because it kind of ties into the same question that you said. But you asked about the target market. You know, to be honest, a target market could be anybody, but it most definitely is never just anybody. It's very specific in who you're trying to reach. And my target audience would be 30 to 50-year-old men and women, business professionals, preferably business professionals who own small businesses, and I would say probably low to mid-range budget level, as in they're gonna want the most bang for their buck, and that's where I think, as me going into this business venture as a new creator, I think that it helps both worlds. It helps other people by providing them a professional service at a decent price, around the average of $15 to $30 an hour, depending on how labor intensive it is, and then it helps you because it gives me an outlet to continue providing quality content.
Right. And I like how you kind of have the same business target market idea that I have with my marketing company, where I said, obviously, if you contact the marketing companies that do fucking Folgers or Monster or Jiffy peanut butter or some shit, they're never gonna fuck with you. They're not gonna mess with you at all. They're gonna require some insanely high retainer fee, and they don't give the little people a chance. So I like how you said that about the people that can't afford it but want to try. Like I said a long time ago on one of my podcasts, I want to help, like with my marketing, I want to help the people like that have a mom and pop shop that they invested all their savings in, and that's their only hope for survival, and they just need help with the advertising barrier. And these big companies that have all the money backing them and all these people and all the creditors, they won't even help them. They don't care unless you got like 15 grand that you're ready to just start with. That's what they'll tell you. Because I actually did reach out to some big, I don't even know if I told you this, I did reach out to some big advertising companies and just acted as if like I was just a nobody, and I said, hey, I need some help, this and that, and they were like, that's what I said. I said, my budget's only like $1,200. Can you please help me? This is all I need. They're like, nah, come back when you could at least put down $5,000. I'm like, damn, that sucks. And of course, in Facebook and Instagram ads, I don't suggest for people to put a lot of money in, especially if they don't know exactly what they're doing with social media marketing, because basically what that is, if you put $100 into a Facebook ad, you're basically going up to a tall building in LA with a bunch of flyers, throwing them all out, watching people walk all over them and hoping they will all pick them up. That's how Facebook and Instagram and Twitter ads work. Unless you have a certain way to get your content to the right people, which is part of the algorithm of how the social media sites work. That's why I would never suggest for Jerry Joe over here to go, I'm gonna put $1,000 in a Facebook ads.
We're gonna put $100,000 right here.
Like all you're doing is basically standing on the top of a building in a busy city and throwing a shit ton of flyers down, and you're probably gonna get maybe two people that'll pick it up. One will be a janitor and one will be somebody who can't read English. That's like how they work. But that's why I like how you said your business model. You want to go for the people with low. Obviously, you want high budgets, but
high budget would be preferred because it's easier for me to work with. However,
exactly.
However, low to mid level, I think that one thing that people have to keep in mind is the fact that is that you know like you're dealing with people that don't really know what the hell they're doing. You know, like you're dealing with people who are just as unsure about something as anybody else in the world. You know, like that confidence level. You know, they have a vision, they have the idea, they have the vision, they know what they know what they think they want. But I guarantee you that once you start into that project, you're going to realize that they don't really know what they want, because they're going at this just like every other person. You know, it takes experience, and it takes time, and it takes going. So like I'm not going to, I have a client right now from where I'm from Arkansas, and she reached out to me and was asking about video editing for her YouTube channel, and she asked some very brief questions. And I gave her some decent, I thought, quality answers. And basically, we haven't even discussed the money. Like, I haven't discussed that with her, but it's not going to be very much. It's going to be enough to help her get what she needs accomplished, and then put a little money in my pocket. But more than anything, I get the experience out of it, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and then it builds your portfolio.
Absolutely.
Really good, really good. All right, well, we're going to start wrapping this up. We're getting close to 30 minutes right now. Okay, so I am going to put your email address.
Okay. Thank you.
So that people can contact you. And eventually we'll have you back on the show when you find out the name, and we got somewhere where we can send the traffic. But as of now, if you guys are out there and you guys are interested in trying to get some film projects going, I will write down his email address and put it in this video, so you guys can contact him through there as of now until the name and the sites are all established.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate
all right. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to What I Need. This is episode 33. Have a great day, guys.